Well, there it is, Echelop in your rearview mirror. How many times have you seen that when you've looked behind? One of nature's finest laxatives. If anything's going to make you drive better, the sight of that in your mirror probably will. What's that got to do with us? Well, it's because this week we're at Greater Manchester Police's driving school, and anyone who rides a bike in Greater Manchester will start their life here. I'm joined by Sergeant Mick Bird. Sergeant Mick, you're one of the instructors here at the driving school, so anyone who rides a bike in Greater Manchester are trained by you or one of your colleagues. They come here.
That's correct, yeah.
That's right. So, what kind of people come here? Did they come here by choice, the police officers, or did they have a choice?
They apply for this course to decide themselves whether they want to be a motorcyclist, put an application in, and providing the Chief Superintendent allows it, they come on the course.
Right. So do you get non-bikers coming here, or are they already bikers? Or is it...
No, we do learner riders as well.
Yeah.
We do a 3-week learner rider course and a 5-week advanced course, which is for people who have full licences.
Yeah. And you must get some officers coming who maybe own their own bikes, Fireblades, come in and think perhaps they can show you a thing or two. Does that happen?
Well, we get a few of those arriving, yes. Yeah. After about 2 weeks, they realise that it's not quite the style of riding that we're looking for.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, there are 3-week courses, there are 5-week courses, which you're in the middle of at the moment, which is an advanced course. So, when they come here, what do? You don't throw them straight on a bike, even if they can ride. There's obviously...
There has to be an input on in classroom.
Yeah.
They have quite a bit of classroom input. They have a lot of books to read and highway code to memorise and motorcycle roadcraft. So it's not just a matter of getting on a bike and going out there. They've got to look at the theory first.
Right, and of course there's the gear as well that you wear, which is very distinctive. You all look the same, look very smart. I mean, you supply the students with the gear?
Yes, we have the stuff that they can put on as health and safety wise to make sure that they don't hurt themselves if they do have to fall off.
Right, and that's here, the gear, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And speaking of gear and equipment to wear, I know just the man.
So here we go. This is a full layout of the kit that the lads use. This particular setup is ready for someone, well, I think it's even been used, it's not new, but this will be a measured up kit ready for someone's action. You've got the obvious, the gloves. Got a balaclava here, a neck tube type thing, keep the old chin warm. This is a lined jacket, and you can see from the inner zip here, this is evidently one that you can take the inner liner out. So one only assumes that in the winter they'd wear the liner over the leather jacket, and in the summer they'd take the inner liner out and they'd just have the reflective jacket. And as Mick said earlier on, the lightweight one for summer use. There's a pair of boots here, and these I can tell from the liner, and those of you who've been shopping recently would know that this is the in stuff. This is good for soaking up your body sweat and so on, keeping your feet dry. And I believe these will have a waterproof liner. Your leather gear here, and your leather jeans. Reflective belt, and presumably when they haven't got the belt on, they can't carry the bits and pieces such as the handcuffs and all the fancy stuff that they lock you up with. And this is the BMW style helmet. These are rather ideal for their job because, as you've noted from when you see a policeman, if he's tapping on the window of the car or if he's pulling you over on the bike, he flips up the front unit so he can talk to you and tell you about the illegal number plate you've got on and the noisy exhaust. Another pair of boots, highly polished I might add, and this shows the fact that whoever owns this particular kit does take care of it, and you rarely see a dirty scruffy motorcyclist, bearing in mind that he's out there 5-6 hours a day. Pretty damn clever really the way they keep tidy, and a pair of waterproof trousers. That's the whole kit. Now Mick promised me a bit of a measure up jobby. I hope it's an attractive young lady who's doing it. I'm going to go and get measured up, see you in a few minutes, styled in my new motorcycle clothing. Can you believe this get-up? Nature flipping measure. Must use an elasticated tape measure or something. Got documents mixed up or something. But someone is going to answer to this. Going to have a word with Paul and then maybe Mick, Big Mick. But the truth being is, I'm geared up and ready to roll and going out on the bikes.
So beware, there's a new sheriff in town.
Well, we're actually on the road with some of the students here. Mick, what's going on here? They seem to be riding around in...
At the moment, they're just practising the disciplines they've been taught with regard to making sure that they look in the mirrors before they do any deviations, make sure they signal if it's necessary, make sure they give a lifesaver to make sure that there's nothing trying to get on the inside or offside, depending which way they're going to turn.
Right, so they're going round a predetermined route that you've worked out here with
yes.
left-handers, right-handers?
Right-handers, includes stops, includes giveaways. Just to see that they are getting the disciplines right before we go out on the road.
Right. You're in contact with them actually?
Yes, I'm radio contact with them, yes.
Yeah. So you'll be watching the feet and the signals and the...
I'll be watching to make sure they do it right.
Right. And what if they don't do it right?
then I let them know they don't do it right.
In no uncertain
In the
terms,
most,
I'm sure.
yeah.
Right, in the most diplomatic way, yeah. Right, so, I mean, we're not going to ride round here all day. I mean, they've done some classroom work, they're on the bikes, and where do we go from here?
From here we go out on the road and we practice the disciplines amongst the traffic,
Right.
because that's what they're going to encounter on the course.
And you go out on a bike with them?
I go on a bike with them, yes.
Right. I noticed there's 2 lads we've got riding around here. How many's in a class?
There's normally 3.
Is there?
It's normally 3, yes. Unfortunately, at the beginning of the second week, number 3 had a slight accident
All right.
where he dropped the bike due to training deficiency, really.
A basic error?
A basic error.
Right, and is he all right?
He's fine.
So you're going to go out with the lads now on your bike and you're in contact with them and
I am, yes.
you'll be watching very closely?
Yeah.
Right, I won't detain you any longer, I'll let you get your gear on.
Okay, thanks very much.
Well, we're back in the office now, back behind Mick's desk here. Mick, there's quite a bit of paperwork involved for the students, we know, but there's a fair bit for yourself as well on this course, isn't there?
There is, yes. I've got to prepare their examinations. I've got to do the daily reports on how they're going on, update them every week with a report on what I'm looking for, and prepare them for the following week.
But your course is quite a bit more intense, probably. I mean, 5 weeks?
Yes, but 5 weeks. They need 5 weeks to get to the standard that we require them to be at.
Right,
we're talking about police motorcyclists. The public are looking at them, and we're making sure that they ride in a disciplined, controlled, and safe manner.
Yeah, and for them 5 weeks, they're here at the driving school, what, for 8 hours a day?
They come here for 8 hours a day. They're on the road probably for anything up to about 5.5 to 6 hours.
Per day?
Per day.
For 5 weeks?
For 5 weeks, 5 days a week.
That is very intense, isn't it? Yeah. So you presumably later on towards the end of the course, you go out on long runs and show them.
As the course progresses, we go through different sorts of situations. We teach them different techniques. We teach them how to overtake. We teach them how to position themselves. Yeah. We teach them safety and defensive riding.
Excellent. Right. And the bikes that the students use, are they their own bikes for the course? Are they allocated a bike for that course, and do they stick with that particular machine?
Each student has a bike which he will stay with the amount of time he's riding that particular CC bike or that particular model of bike.
Right.
When he moves up further to the more bigger bikes, then he stays with that one as well.
So he has to clean it in the mornings or in the evenings?
Well, every time we come back from a run, because we don't always get fine weather, even if it's not fine, we still wash the bike off, leather it off, ready for the next day.
I noticed they're absolutely spick and span, the bikes.
And at the end of the time that they're on that particular bike, it's polished, waxed, and put away for the next course.
Right. And the bikes that you're using here at the moment, they're all BMWs?
They are at the moment, yes, the ones that we are using.
Is that why is that? I mean,
well, that's what the police are using at the moment.
So whatever the police are using in the field, if you like.
Greater Manchester use BMWs, so we train on BMWs.
Right. And about the maintenance of the bike, I mean, they're looked after here, aren't they? The bikes?
They are, yes. They have workshops just not far from here, just over on the top of the complex.
And it's
and they're responsible for the maintenance of them.
I had a peek through the window before. It's extremely well equipped.
It is.
Yeah. In fact, we'll show you one of the best equipped workshops you're ever likely to see. Now we've come to the police workshop. This is the motorcycle workshop, one of probably the best equipped workshop I've ever seen in my life. They've got every fancy tool here, all these specialist tools you need for undoing them little hard to get at bits and pieces. They've got the lot here. Every fancy gadget you could ever wish to see in a workshop. They can do just about anything in here, anything from a basic puncture, perhaps a tyre replacement, to a full engine rebuild, a stripped down servicing, you name it. These lads have got the technology and the expertise and the backup to get any job done. And if you remember, Mick Bird earlier was talking about one of his pupils coming off, the reason he's only got 2 on his course instead of the 3. And here's the evidence of said accident. Not a massive amount of damage when you first look. Obviously, the wing mirror's gone somewhere on there. Down here, the crash bars. It just shows you the value of the crash bars on a bike. I mean, they've saved a tremendous amount of damage to the engine. They've bent up and bashed into the fairing, so it's a new fairing, new bars. This one here has actually broken the mounting plate for the foot peg, which has disappeared completely. But they've saved an awful lot of damage, mainly cosmetic, and these lads, believe me, they'll soon put this thing back on the road. Now, if you're a home mechanic, this is going to make you really sick. Just look at this. This is an Aladdin's cave of bike bits. Now, all you BMW owners, just think how many times you've had a go at taking something apart and you've got a screwdriver stuck in the end of a socket and a blooming ring key round the end of a blooming Tommy bar and all sorts. You've got every possible tool here, all the bits and pieces to get all them fancy gadgets apart. And further in here, it just goes on and on and on. It's not just BMW. There's Honda spares, there's all sorts of bits and pieces. You name it, there's brackets for this, bearings for that, screws and nuts and things for this, and it's fabulous. I love it in here. Well, we've looked at the training, you've seen the intensity of the training, the things that these lads go through, all to become a police motorcyclist. Believe me, when they leave this place, they really can ride a bike. Speaking of which, here's a load of bikes that have been serviced, repaired, put back together, whatever it is they had wrong with them, all waiting to be delivered back to the bike wing. And that's exactly where we'll be going next time.